Well, here's what I have for you this week. Fundraising best practices for cultivating major donors. As I start this new series, I don't care what size center you operate. Major gift fundraising is where transformational philanthropy happens. Not on Twitter or Facebook, not on the phone or by email. If you want to accomplish big goals this year and impact your community in bold ways as a fundraiser, you need to understand how to cultivate major gifts. But even before that, before you can cultivate a major gift, you must identify your best major donor prospects. For most organizations, your major donor prospects are people and organizations already making major gifts to your organization. They know you, they trust your organization, and have already shown their willingness to make significant investments in your cause. What do you do if your organization has never asked for or received a major gift? Or maybe you have major donors but need more to reach your strategic goals. Then what? Start by carefully analyzing your donor data. You can begin your major gift program by analyzing your giving records, looking for patterns of behavior that indicate a greater potential. Things like frequency of giving, cumulative annual gift amounts above certain levels, large single gifts, or consistent upgrading over short periods of time all indicate the potential to make larger gifts. Consistent gift transactional data isn't the only information that can indicate a major gift potential. If a donor mails in a check response to your direct mail campaign and that check was drawn on a trust, a family foundation, wealth management, money market, or private client group account, chances are they have the ability to give larger gifts. Similarly, if you find out that your donor is a patent holder, a business owner, a chief executive of a publicly held company, or member on a corporate board of directors, there's a good chance that he or she might have additional wealth that you weren't previously aware of. Once you have completed this level of data screening, begin the process of building new relationships. Don't take major gifts prospects off your mail list. Always be a desire to take these people out of the direct mail stream. Should you reduce their mail frequency? Probably. Should they get a much different creative and offer treatment than the rest of your donors? Absolutely. But don't rush things. There is always a tendency to rush into major gift solicitations. Your board wants to see results. You're under pressure to hit your annual performance goals, and the organization has real needs. And all of that stuff is important, but not to your donor. If you rush the relationship and force an ask before your prospect is ready, you might still get a gift, but chances are it will be smaller than you would have received from him or her had you not rushed things. Oh, and good luck at ever getting another meeting. Rushing a donor says that your needs are more important than hers, and most donors won't consider that a positive experience with your organization. Slow down and build the relationship first. Explore with your prospect why he or she loves your organization and what it is that you do that they are passionate about. How do they feel about playing a larger role in the work you do? Learn about your donors before you ask for the donation, seeking to fully understand before you move toward the ask. This allows you to make the ask in the spirit of partnership, identifying ways that you can work together to ensure his or her philanthropic goals are accomplished. Major gift cultivation takes time. Note, cultivating a major gift prospect can and typically will take many months, sometimes even years. This is normal. You can't turn a $250 donor into a $50,000 donor in 3 short months or anything like that. You should expect the cultivation cycle to take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years on an average. It starts with face-to-face meetings to build those relationships. Now think back with me to the last truly strong relationship you had that only existed via telephone, email, or postal mail. Can you? Probably not. Neither can I. That's because key elements of communication, non-verbal cues, body language, and so forth, are missing, and that personal interaction is important in building trust-based relationships. Relationships are the key to major gift cultivation. Now, I'm sure you're busy with your 150 plus prospects and suspects. Of course, you also have other duties as assigned, but if you aren't making time to actually sit down with potential donors and build lasting relationships, you'll never close gifts. Sure, you can close 250, 500. These kinds of gifts can be closed over the phone. Heck, you might even be able to get a 1,000 or 5,000 gifts if you're good. But there's virtually no way you can close significant major gifts without face-to-face interaction. Now, I'm not talking about making the ask in person. In-person meetings allow you to build trust and familiarity that moves your discussions toward an ask at every stage. Without it, you're just a shadowy figure that doesn't inspire trust or loyalty. Getting a face-to-face meeting means this can be the toughest part of the cultivation process, getting to that all-important face-to-face meeting, but you got to do it. One of the best ways to get people to meet with you is to ask for their advice. Everyone loves to share their opinions, especially on issues that are important to them. So in your initial visits, rather than asking to stop by to get to know you or just to come by for a chat, ask your prospect for an hour of her time to share some information about a new project and get her advice. This is not a sales call. This is a cultivation step to advance the relationship toward a solicitation. You might be tempted, but don't pull a bait and switch here. If you tell the donor you're coming to ask for her advice on something instead of a gift solicitation, you can run the real and significant risk of offending her, never having another opportunity to solicit this donor. Instead, always just ask for her input and then listen. Chances are she'll provide you with some great feedback that you can incorporate in future discussion and use to build a customized ask down the road. Have an agenda. Don't ask to meet with a prospect without having an agenda for the meeting, and don't keep it to yourself either. When was the last time you took a meeting with someone who wouldn't tell you ahead of time what to expect? Be honest and clear with your prospect. You're either meeting to discuss something to get her advice, say thank you, provide information she requested, or you're meeting to make an ask. Either way, be upfront about your intentions and provide her with an agenda for the meeting. It doesn't have to be complex, just enough that she's not left wondering what you want up to the last minute you tell her. Do what you say you will do. Nothing derails a relationship like failing to make good on your commitments. You tell the potential donor you're going to do something, better make darn sure you do it. Extra points if you're early. Again, this validates your claim to the donor that you are interested in a relationship with her and not just getting her to part with her money. And if she knows she can trust you with the small things, she will be inclined to trust you with the big things too. Now, involve the right people. You might be tempted to go it alone in your cultivation efforts. Heck, you might even feel like you have to because your boss or your board doesn't like fundraising. But if you want to land big gifts, you've got to involve the entire team. Involving your board, your CEO, your program staff, key volunteers shows your prospect that she's important, and it also allows her to build multi-layered relationships with your organization. And this means deeper, more meaningful engagement, and that's pretty much always a good thing. Involving the right people isn't just about your staff, though. If a donor tells you she has a grown child she wants involved in the process, or that he or she is a financial or legal advisor, you better be sure they are in the loop. If you don't include them, she'll feel like you didn't listen or didn't care enough to do what she asked. Neither of those are a good place to be with a prospect. And the last thing you want to do is to have your solicitation derailed because you didn't know who the outside influencers or secondary decision makers were in her process. In fact, if your prospect doesn't share this information with you, it might be a good idea for you to come right out and ask her if there is anyone else she thinks should be involved in your discussions. Now ask for the donation. The culmination of your hard work and painstaking effort during the cultivation process is the ask. You've put months, even years, into preparing for this one moment. You didn't cultivate this relationship just to build a new friendship, and your prospect knows this just as well as you do. Ask for it in person, and in that way, that invites participation and respects what your donor has shared with you during the cultivation process. Be specific in what you ask her to do. After all, you've spent considerable time getting to know this person. What makes her tick? What motivates her? Why she loves your organization and how she wants to be involved. Now, just package that into a concise opportunity for her to change the world in her own special way. I'd like to use the following structures when I'm asking for a major gift. Example 1, Mary, I'm here today because several months ago you told me how important our work of saving the unborn threatened by abortion is to you. And since it is so important to you, I'd like you to consider making a $25,000 investment in the new home for unwed mothers we're building next year. And then shut up and wait for a response. Example number 2. Emily, you told me how important it is that you honor Jim's memory and continue the valuable work he started while he was here on Earth with us. We both know how important education was to Jim and how he believed that everyone should have the kind of educational opportunities he had growing up. That's why I'd like for you to consider making a $500,000 contribution to endow the Start a New Life Scholarship Fund at the new maternity home. This would ensure that Jim's legacy lives on while making it possible for new mothers to obtain quality education. And then again, I shut up. Say thank you. Whether your ask results in a gift or not, you've got to thank your prospect. Thank her for her time. Thank her for her partnership. Thanks for listening and sharing with you. Thank her for considering your proposal. And certainly thank her for the gift if she says yes to your request. And in the event she says no, your grateful response will leave her with a positive memory of your interaction and set the stage for another solicitation down the road. Now, review your successes and your failures. In Major League sports, the best players always review the game tape. They look for things they did wrong or could do better in the future and then practice with that goal in mind. If your donor doesn't come right out and tell you why she's said no to your request, then find an appropriate time and place to ask her that question. Don't be adversarial about it. Simply ask something like, "Tell me more about your feelings about this opportunity." That is open-ended and gives her yet another chance to be heard. And it gives you another chance to gather valuable information you can use during your next approach. Now just do it. Move your center ahead by using these best practices for cultivating major donors. If you need help analyzing your data, preparing your ask, call me at 214-703-0505. That's why I'm here, to help you do your job better. And here's what I want you to do. Download a PDF copy of this report as your takeaway. Now, keep up the good work you're doing. You are making a difference, and the other side just can't stand it. Thanks for listening to the Monday Minute.